What's up, YouTube? Here's another deck profile from TripleSleeveTCG. My name is John. I have been waiting for this clan to get support, as you can already see. Ever since the upgrades from my Glorious Justice, I've been hard at work trying to roll this one out of the hanger, as so speak. So anyway, let's get started, guys. We got our starter, Goyusha, draw a card. I didn't want to switch to the new one because, you know, I've been playing Dimensional Robo since it was released back in the original set 3, so got to keep it as much as robots as possible. For our grade 3 lineup, we have 4 Super Dimensional Robo Die Liner. His first skill is Continuous. Every grade 3 that's in my hand gets 10,000 shield. Unfortunately, I wish they could intercept too, but you know, they couldn't give us that. Axe skill, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Look at the top 7 cards. Add 1 normal unit to my hand. And if it just so happens to be a grade 3 that I added, plus 20k in a crit. This is going to be your first ride. No matter what game state you're in, this is always going to be your first ride. If you can't get it, sometimes you can basically last out the game with this guy until you get to your finisher of the deck. Our next grade 3 are 3 Ultimate Dimensional Robo Great Dayusha. I only play the 3 simply because the deck, I can search him out in the deck, and I only want to really see him to finish the game, not necessarily to ride on top of him, you know? But basically, when placed, he gives my front row plus 10,000 power, so, you know, big and beefy, big and beefy. Now, if I did not ride, at the end of the battle, my grade 3 or greater Vanguard attack and his power was 45,000 or greater, I can ride Counterblast 1 to ride him as stand. And of course, you know, you get another gift marker as well. Our next grade 3 are 4 Super Dimensional Robo Aris. Kind of love this guy. Really love this guy, actually. He's the backup grade 3 of the deck if you can't get to Die Liner. Continuous ability. For every card in your damage zone, he gets plus 5,000 power on Vanguard Circle, even though I wish it was on Rearguard Circle as well. Also, his Rearguard skill allows, at the end of his battle, if your Vanguard was 35,000 or greater, he goes into the soul, Counterblast 1, he gives your Vanguard plus 10,000 and a plus 1 drive. So it gives you a better chance to go into the piece that you need, try to hit that desperate trigger, or if you don't already have the Great Dayusha, search it out and then perform the superior ride in the following action. On to our grade 2s. The staple for Die Dragon, self-explanatory. You can get Soul Blast 1, give plus 5 to your Vanguard. Also, if your Vanguard's 35 or more, he's 20k. So, I mean, you put a trigger on him, he's 30k. Another trigger is 40k. I don't know about you guys, I like it. Now, I am only playing 3 of the new Platinum Ace. Considering dropping him down to 2, simply because the job he does, Die Dragon does better, in my opinion. When he's on Vanguard Circle, he gets plus 5,000 power. Yeah, that's not all that bad. It lets you get over that when your opponent hits you with a 1-to-pass guarding for 15k, you're able to kind of pass through. But his secondary skill is what really matters to us. On Rearguard, when he attacks, and if your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, and it's 30,000 or more, you could Soul Blast 1, he gets plus 20 in a crit. So if you're on Force 1, that's plus 30. If you're on Force 2, that's plus 20, 3 crit. And if you gave him a trigger, that's about 30, you know. There are some instances where I will go into Force 1, but it's very seldom at this point. Force 2 is just too good. Our last grade 2 of the deck is Miracle Dandy. I play tested with Action Mask. Action Mask is a unit that restands itself when your Vanguard swings. But I opted more for guard rather than for additional attacks. Plus, I mean, the deck is kind of counterblast heavy and it's kind of cost heavy, actually. Especially using Die Liner every turn. Now for our grade 1s, I play 3 copies of Magical Police Quilt. Vanguard, Rearguard, when she's placed, you can discard a card from hand, give your Vanguard plus 10. On Rearguard, when your Vanguard swings and it's 30,000 or greater, you can Counterblast 1 to draw a card. I mean, if I need that certain burst of power right in that instance, you know, she's good for that. Otherwise, she's mostly for the longer game to add cards to my hand when I need to. Next up is this guy. I'm not even gonna try and butcher his name. What? Magdrilla? Wow. So when he boosts, if my damage zone is 4 more cards in hand, Soul Blast 1, he gets plus 10. So he's a constant 18k booster, something that's extremely important in this deck, because you're not always going to have the ability to boost your Vanguard, so you need to make sure that whoever's boosting him can, you know, boost themselves too. Basically all he's good for. Next up is 2 copies of Heat Source Genelaser. Similar skill to the drill guy. Rest 1 unit, he gets plus 10 until the end of the turn. It's an axe skill, both Vanguard and Rearguard. It helps for an early push if you want to pressure your opponent. But for the most part, like I said, like with this guy, he's just there to boost the Vanguard, especially if you cannot boost the Vanguard yourself. You know, getting to those higher numbers, giving your opponent less and less ways to guard out of taking the swing is what we want the most. Next up is 2 copies of Dilander, excuse me. Yeah, I know, it's the misprint little girl. Basically, when your Vanguard is 30,000 or greater, your opponent can't intercept. I love this. If I use Dilander, I hit the grade 3, he's 33 for the turn. That means you can't intercept any small attacks. You got to give me more cards from hand. This card is amazing. Sludge Monster Drohead. When he's placed on a Guardian Circle, counterblast, and your opponent can't boost for the rest of the turn. So if I petty block your first attack, shuts all your boosting off. This really helps against the Bermuda matchup because those lanes are huge for no reason. Huge for no reason. Excellent card. Considering bumping it up to 3, so far 2's been kind of fine for me so far. Next is the trigger lineup. 8 critical triggers, 4 draw triggers, 4 heals. I opted more for playing not stands. Oh man, I wish. I opted more for playing draws before, but I was not. It seemed to not matter. My opponent didn't really feel any pressure from me, so I just decided to put the crits in more, especially when during games I play Force 2. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell on the way out. Also, make sure you check out TripleSleeveTCG on TCG Player. We generally have the lowest prices around. And also check out our sponsors at Prismatic Defenders. They have really good selections of sleeves. I'm out of here. Peace.